Hello everybody, welcome back to Clear Surf Financial Education. Carl Keister here. Today I thought I would get in a little bit to stocks and what's going on. You're starting to see a rotation, talk a little bit about cryptocurrency and oil, and maybe touch a little bit about inflation. So last week I talked about some of this, and I thought it'd be pretty interesting to get into a little bit deeper because now we're starting to see the market. The Dow had its worst day yesterday since February, so worst day in a few months. And this morning it was down, I think 600, close to 700 points, and then just vicious U-turn rally right back. Matter of fact, the NASDAQ was down 2.5% yesterday, 2% today, and just reversed and actually went green by the end of the day, which was kind of crazy. But anyway, I want to talk a little about cryptocurrency because I get a lot of questions about that. I'm currently not in any cryptos. I've watched Riot, and that's what I've been watching. It's kind of funny how that one's kind of breaking down a little bit. If you watched Bitcoin, that has been pretty much, it's pulled back from 65,000, which was a high, got down into 55,000 over the course of a weekend, and then rallied back. So it's back to like 58, 59. But Riot's no longer going back to those highs. I'm gonna look at a 1-year chart here, and yeah, Riot was up around $80. And that was only back on February 17th. It was 80 bucks, and today it broke down below 30. I saw it as low today as around 26, 27. So it's lost, 75% of its value, and yet Bitcoin is still down, but not near as down as far as that was. It's down to 56,000 right now. So it's down about 10,000, which is roughly 20%. While Riot's down 75% from its high. So that's one of those stocks that spiked on it. But you also want to take a look at like Square and PayPal, they're down. I even look at Apple. I've been wanting to buy Apple for a while, but ever since I found out at the end of last quarter, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates were no longer buying Apple. They actually got rid of it at the end of last quarter. It's really been a struggle. I think the stock actually went negative today for the year. I think it's down 1% for the year. So really underperforming the market and definitely underperforming the technology stocks. But I've been kind of thinking about buying it. Now today what I did actually step into some of the pot stocks. And reason being is I started looking at these. They were really getting bashed last week. And one of the newsletters I get daily just mentioned it today in their newsletter that they think that's an area that's going to take some positive turn here. I mean, Tilray, looking at a one-year chart, that's the one I stepped into today, TLRY. This is a stock that when people get behind it, it spikes. It was a $67 stock back in February, but it's been as low as $5. So it's a $5 stock, went to 62, and it's been just slowly moving its way lower. So I actually stepped in today, and it got an upgrade. I forget who it was, but someone upgraded it from $15 to 20, which simple math, that's a 25% return if it hits their 12-month target. But my experience has been so far with these pot stocks, they move in a hurry. So usually if they give a price target upgrade, if you get more than 1 or 2 price target upgrades on these types of stocks, they'll generally all start moving together and they'll move very, very quickly. So I actually my first bite into that one, I bought 100 shares. So first step into it, if it goes lower, if it drops another $2, $3, $4, I might buy 100 more and just average cost my way into it, because it is one of those stocks that you have to be in it, because when it pops, like the other day, it was up 15% in a day. So it's a crazy mover, but I'm just starting to buy little pieces into that because I think the administration right now, the focus is not on legalizing marijuana, but it's been going that way. I think it was New Jersey and another state that legalized this year. So you're starting to see more and more states that are going to accept this. So I do think that's going to start moving that way. Right now they've got their hands full because of this cyber attack that happened over the weekend with the Colonial Pipeline being shut down by these Russian hackers. I don't know if you paid attention to that, but that is something that I look at, and I take that kind of seriously. I wish our government would take it more seriously, because these threats have been escalating in severity. And also what they're doing, I just watched the news this evening and I saw that there are several states and several areas now that are out of gas. That pipeline goes from Texas all the way up to Pennsylvania. So it's connecting, almost 24 states on the East Coast, or at least 18 states, something like that on the East Coast. So when that happens, I mean, the so-called attackers, was it Dark Side? It's in a Russian group, some Russian Dark Side, I forget, Dark Side something or other they call themselves. Anyway, they said that they weren't trying to attack or cripple any individual. They don't attack hospitals and schools. Oh, that's fantastic. They don't go after those, but they go after big businesses, definitely American businesses. So that was interesting how that attack caused a lot of damage, and nobody knows if they paid the ransom or not. But it's happening more and more frequently. I know one of the local governments down here a year or two had a ransomware attack, cost them $300,000, and they paid it. So who knows what they paid on this one, but if you look at the ransomware attack that happened, you have inflation that's definitely ticking up. Fuel prices were going up before the ransomware attack. Also see that there's some rockets flying now between Gaza and Israel. So if you weigh the mix, you see the market's getting a little bit shaky, and that could be because some stocks are at all-time highs. I've mentioned a lot about the pot stocks and the Bitcoin stocks, but even if you look at the everyday stocks, and I'm talking Home Depot. Home Depot is a stock I looked at, and I was in and out of that a couple times recently. Home Depot, I think in the last month, I'm going to pull it up here. It's March. I do remember that. Let me just pull up a 3-month chart. And I think it's some crazy number. Like it's up $100 in the last. Let's see. Yeah. So March 4th. So we're talking a little over 2 months. It went from 250 basically, and it yesterday hit a high of 345. So when a Home Depot stock goes up $100 in 2 months, probably getting close to pulling back here soon. Again, as I've always said in the past, for the long-term investors or people that have retirement money there, don't try to pull out of Home Depot right now because there's so much money on the sidelines, and if you do, you'll probably pull it out. Yeah, if you're lucky enough to catch it on the way down, but trying to buy back in 30 days from now so they don't have any tax consequences, or if it's even in a retirement account, what's happening, sometimes these big moves are happening overnight. So with Home Depot and some others, some of these pops are happening before the market even opens, and you're already down, or it's already up $10, $5-10 move, and it's kind of hard to get back in. Then you're wishing you didn't get out. So I'm not saying that. I'm just mentioning that if you're one of those people that's a little bit more nimble, or if you're just buying small pieces, trying to make some extra money for a vacation fund or something like that. Home Depot's up. It's down now $10 today. It was down around 12. So Home Depot, Lowe's, some of those stocks, I know Costco was almost hit out like the day before, hit another back to the all-time high of 388. So if you look at the stocks that people have been buying for a while, the Boeings, that's been cooling off, CATs, industrial, everybody ran out of those stocks, like the technical stocks, the NASDAQ stocks, let's call it, and they all went into the industrials, and we started buying up the Bitcoin. And now you're starting to see Bitcoins pull back, especially after Elon Musk was on Saturday Night Live, and they made a couple skits about it being a hustle and being a joke. I watched some of the videos. One of the newsletters I get had links to it on YouTube, so if you go to YouTube, you can actually see the skits. But he was promoting Dogecoin for a while. He calls himself the godfather of Dogecoin. So he called it a hustle. Well, obviously, we know he didn't call it a hustle because Saturday Night Live, they pretty much put in front of you what you're going to read. It's a live show. So he pretty much read that, but he pushed it, and then what do you know? It went from 70 cents down to 50 cents Saturday night. So Dogecoin lost, 30% of its value? 30, 40%, something like that. So that's a big move, and it just goes to show you sometimes it's buy the rumor and then sell the news, and that's kind of what happened with Dogecoin. I'm not saying it can't go back up again. I'm just saying when there's that much hype behind it, they usually get behind it in advance. Before it happens, and then once everybody starts piling in, smart money gets out, and they let the dust settle, and then they'll decide if they want to go back in or not. But they'll make the quick, easy money, which is kind of what happened. So anyway, I do expect we're going to see some more volatility. Volatility popped up today. I think we're going to see more of that. I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, sell in May and go away. It's what some of the people, that's an old adage, been around for a long time. Now there's a lot more retail investors in here, like today, when some of these stocks were beaten down pretty hard. Wow, they just ripped it. Like the NASDAQ, if you look at the Qs, at one point in time, it was down like 60, 70 points, same with the S&Ps, and the NASDAQ finished like almost flat. That is a huge move. You're talking about a 2% move in a matter of a couple hours. And so it seems like once the reversals happen, short covering happens, people that were short the stock have to buy it back. Other people jump in, there's some money on the sidelines, so they're looking for these things. And honestly, it's so hard trying to short these stocks. And if you think about it, you have to be in the night before. I actually was short a couple things. FFCX, I had like 2 or 3 positions on that I really liked. But what I did yesterday when I saw the market slipping is I sold a call above mine. So when it comes back in the morning, you buy back that call at a cheaper price and then hang on to it. I just didn't hang on long enough. It was a nice couple $100 trade, but I mean, I could have held on all day. It would have been a heck of a lot bigger trade. I never thought that this thing was going to run all the way back to break even. So anyway, be prepared for some volatility. And that's, I guess we'll leave it there for right now. But I do think we're going to see some more volatility. I don't think this is over yet. And anytime it gets back and markets are running back to those highs, and again, we're off the highs by a few percent. And it's only a few stocks like Apple that actually never got to their highs. 145 was their high. Today it traded down as low as 125, and then some buying came in, took it up to like 128. But still, it's still $17 off the high. So Amazon, Facebook took a hit. That's one stock that did hit a new high and pulled back. So anyway, be prepared for some volatility. Who knows what's going to happen in Israel? Who knows what's going to happen with this pipeline? They're supposed to get end of business tomorrow, decide whether they can start the pipeline back up again. They're still not sure if they can. So that may disrupt gas. But anyway, I hope our administration is paying attention, because I don't think, even though Russia said they weren't really involved, they know it came from their country. And I don't think that's something that should be overlooked. There should be some, you should lean on them a little bit, because if this keeps happening and they get away with it, other countries and bad actors are going to keep on doing more of it. It's going to cost us more money. And one of these days, it might be shutting down the electrical grid in the middle of summer, or water grid, and something very, very damaging, going without gas for a couple of days is not the end of the world, but it will hit the economy. So anyway, we'll leave it from there. ClearSurf Financial Education. Click down below, like and subscribe, and also there's a course I've created down below. Check it out. And that's it for now. Take care.